Following breaking news out of the Capitol, here is the governor right now.
The immediate grief over what occurred at Sandy Hook Elementary School on December 14th, there was one question on the lips of many of our residents. How do we make sure that this never happens again? It's the right question, even though we recognize that despite our best efforts, bad things will continue to happen. However, to do everything within our power to make sure that we limit or hopefully prevent such a reoccurrence, I am today announcing the creation of the Sandy Hook Advisory Commission. The Commission will look for ways to make sure that our gun laws are as tight as they need to be, that our mental health system can reach those who are in need of our help, and that our law enforcement agency have the tools that they need to protect public safety, particularly in our schools. We don't yet know the underlying cause behind this tragedy, and we probably never will, not in any way that will make sense of what happened on that day. But that cannot be an excuse for inaction. I want the Commission to have the ability to study every detail so that they can help craft meaningful legislative and policy changes. I've given them an interim deadline of March 15th so that we can get some portion of the work to the legislature for their review in this coming session. However, I expect the work of the Commission to continue past March. I believe we need to move forward with steady conviction, and that means producing results along the way. I've asked Mayor Scott Jackson of Hamden to serve as chair. I believe he possesses the intellectual ability necessary to address this issue. I know that he has the work ethic to get it done, and I believe his background, he served on the two-storm panel with distinction, and other panels make him the ideal person to lead this group. The rest of the Commission appointments will be announced in the coming days. The members will come from fields of law enforcement, mental health, school safety, public safety, and education. Let me add that I look forward to working with the legislature on this issue. I've had many conversations with members of both parties. I know that there is much we already agree on. We will work together to make our state a model for the rest of the nation. Let me also say that we can work on this issue. We can't work on this issue by ourselves here in Connecticut. It's still far too easy to buy guns in some states and transport them to our state. We need Washington to get its act together so that they can put together a reasonable national gun policy that protects the citizens of our state and of our nation. I am thankful, therefore, that President Obama has gotten this conversation started, and I'm committed to doing all that I can to allow this conversation to proceed. This will be a long road. But with the government working together every step of the way, we can reach our destination. Scott, would you say a few words?
Thank you, Governor. This is a massive project with short timelines. We have issues of the school facilities themselves, the security of our buildings on both the capital expenditure side as well as the human resources side. We have mental health issues. We have social isolation. We have a lot to address under that umbrella. And then we do have access to guns and ammunition, not only here in Connecticut, but around the country. I think in response to the horror of Sandy Hook Elementary, a lot of places are having this dialogue as well. I look forward to working with the Commission. Again, it is a large project, and the dozen or so of us who are participating will take it seriously, and we will provide results. Thank you.
With that, I'll take questions on this matter, and then after that's exhausted, since I haven't seen some of you in a few days, I'll take other questions.
Given the massive numbers of guns that exist, do you really think it's possible to do anything further with gun control? And admittedly, we already have some of the strictest laws in the country.
Sure. Sure, it's a great and reasonable question to ask, and just to repeat it, it's given all the guns that are present in the United States, saw the statistic that we represent about 5% of the world's population and 50% of the world's guns. The answer is yes, we can still have an impact. If the Brady bill or the assault weapons ban had not been allowed to expire by the Congress of the United States, 30-round clips would still be illegal. And I think that there will be states that take that issue on. Perhaps with the President's dialogue in Washington, that will be taken on a national level. So I think there are appropriate steps. And in point of fact, if 30-round clips had continued to be illegal in the nation, or for that matter, in our own state, the availability of that clip to this particular perpetrator may not have existed.
For 10 years they've been available.
Sure.
It's not just for the rifle. There are many, many handguns that come with magazines that have a higher than 10/6 capacity. Some of them are 12, some of them are 15.
But you also have to understand that we regulate guns according to their type differently. Handguns are regulated because, and specifically around the definition of how you hold a gun. But listen, these things aren't used to hunt deer. You don't need a 30-round clip to go hunting. You don't need a 30-round clip to honor the Constitution of the United States. And I think it's time we have a realistic discussion about the weapons that are being used time and time again in these mass casualty situations. I mean, it would be stupid not to have that conversation.
Governor, do you think there should be guards in every school? And if so, should they be armed?
I hope not. But there's a reason we have the commission, and that's to look at these issues, and ultimately that will be a local decision. But we'll take a balanced approach and a balanced look at that for a final determination. But you just, with all the needs, you would hope that that's not one we need, but if it is, we have to take a look at it. On the other hand, hardening infrastructure may be an appropriate step to be taken. I'm sorry.
I hate to use the word for so horrific an incident, but statistically, school shootings are something of an anomaly, and that there is a broader issue of gun violence, urban gun violence. So how tightly do you want the focus of this commission to be on schools and school shootings and school safety?
I want the initial work to be around schools and school safety and understanding that there are much broader implications. So I absolutely agree with you. The common element of mass casualty incidences is almost always the weapons used or the types of weapons used. So there's obviously going to be a continuation or an applicability that will carry over. But right now we have an issue that the people of Connecticut want dealt with. But it crosses. It crosses not only the physical infrastructure or perhaps the personnel infrastructure, but it also touches upon the capacity and what types of weapons are available in our nation or in our state. So it's going to be applicable, but right now we're looking at this particular incident, trying to understand what we as a state or what local communities can do to prevent it from happening.